Welcome back to another video. Today I'm talking about harvesting garlic. So garlic is one of those crops that is just foundational in a lot of cooking and recipes, and it's good to know how to grow it, right? So you can produce your own, you don't have to buy it from someplace, and it's an easy crop to harvest. And today I'm going to be going over some of the harvesting of the garlic bulbs or cloves, and how I go about the process of curing or drying out the garlic so it can be preserved over the colder season, so it can find its way into various cooked dishes, soups, stews, and all that. So let's get right into it. Alright, so it is mid-July in this zone 6A climate, and it's time to harvest the garlic. Actually, it's a little late to harvest the garlic. You can see this plant here. Usually it might be good to harvest them when they're not quite as dead looking, but this is kind of what we're doing here. This is of course the bed where we have the winter rye planted with garlic. What you can do is you might be able to get close to the bulb and pull it up, but sometimes, especially with soil like this, the soil can be kind of compact, a little tough, a little heavy, and it can rip the stem out of the garlic bulb. So we want to try to harvest a little bit more carefully than that. And so what I do is I take a pitchfork, I place it about like 4 to 6 inches away from the plant, because I don't want the tines of the pitchfork to go into the garlic bulb, right? I don't want to damage that. On this, I try to make sure I have the fork perpendicular to the ground, so it goes down nice and straight. Give it a little bit of pressure. I just lift it up a little bit, and then it should come up pretty easy. There you go. Homegrown garlic. So once I go through and harvest the garlic here, because I have a row of garlic and then I have the rye and then I have another row of garlic on the other side, what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to just lay down the rye as a mulch, and then on the sides from where I've harvested the garlic, I'll probably just kind of weed that out, and then I'll plant winter radishes, and those will kind of be a cover slash food crop that I can get in this late in the season. Alright, so this is a small portion of the garlic harvest. I think what I'm going to do with these now is I'm just going to clean them up a little bit. With this batch, I'm just going to clip off their roots. I'm doing this out in the field, so to speak, right? So I'm just putting that right back in the ground, kind of make it nice and neat like that. And then I'm gonna go, maybe about 8 inches up or so, about the pliers, length of the pliers. I'm just gonna cut it about there. I think with these, I'm just gonna cut them like this. I'm not gonna peel them until after they dry, and then maybe some of the other garlic that I harvest, I'll probably harvest that other batch tomorrow. It's kind of getting late in the day today, losing daylight, but and then those I may peel back a little bit just to clean them, so it's already peeled and stuff, and they just have to kind of cure. And then both these groups I'll probably cure for about a week or two or so. Maybe I'll kind of try to see which group does best, if they get peeled right away, or if you wait to peel until after they've cured. So with this batch, I'm going to wait to peel until after they've cured. You can get pretty close to the base of the bulb, you just don't want to get the bulb. It's about 6 to 8 inches up. There you go. And then a bunch of these garlic cloves I'm going to save, and I will plant in the fall, and probably grow this batch out more. And now you may be seeing like the small garlic cloves, bulbs and stuff, and you know, it could be the soil might not be quite right for this crop. It could also, but also I believe this particular garlic variety, I don't remember what it is, but I believe it produces a smaller bulb than some other varieties. Alright, there we go. Alright, so this is the other half of the garlic that I'm harvesting here for this experiment. I have a tray here, I'm going to put it on clippers, of course, and for this batch of the garlic I am going to clean it up like what I did with the last section, where I took off the roots and then I went 6 to 8 inches up the stalk and cut that off. But I'm also going to peel this garlic down in this group a few layers and then let it cure, which would be different from the last group, which I did not peel off any of the layers on the garlic cloves. That will be the one variable that I change, and so we'll kind of see how that goes. Alright, so here is the garlic, all peeled, cleaned. So I peeled off the outer layer, and this will now cure for 2 weeks. One option for curing is you can set up fans. You can try to set them up in a well-ventilated area. That can be ideal, so we have air movement, kind of help control the humidity, and it'll help to prevent any mold growth or anything like that, and help the garlic cloves to cure more evenly. So here we have the garlic that I did not peel from about a month ago. It didn't have to cure quite that long, but you know, been busy with a bunch of different things. So what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of take off the first few layers of a bucket. I'm just putting the peelings in. I'll put those in the compost. It's real garlic. So here's the freshly cleaned, or here's the newly cleaned garlic, and you have a lot of garlic to do, like on a larger scale, and it's dried, and then you clean it. It's definitely a good idea to do it in a well-ventilated area. Any type of dust or dirt particles or whatever, that way can kind of dissipate, and you don't have to worry about breathing that in. But overall, the garlic seems to have turned out well. The particular variety that I use naturally has a purplish tinge on the outside, so that is normal for this type of garlic. Alright, so as you can tell, we have this garlic that has dried before I cleaned it, and this is the garlic that I just cleaned. And then this is the garlic that was cleaned out in the field when it was freshly harvested, so it was still green and wet. As you can tell, there's no real difference between the two of how they've aged or anything like that. The extra layers that were on this garlic as it dried did not seem to really influence any noticeable change in quality of drying or lack thereof. And then these that were freshly harvested Didn't really seem to over dry or anything like that. Really, either method works. It really kind of comes down to personal preference or circumstance. Like I said, if you're gonna dry the garlic and then clean it, definitely keep in mind of like any type of dust particles or anything like that, to do it in a well ventilated area. You know, and if that's a concern, or for people, you know, or for people who may be more sensitive to that kind of thing, maybe cleaning it fresh out in the field might be a better option. So now what I'm going to do with this garlic, all of this garlic, is I'm going to hold on to it for now. It's about mid-September right now. I'm not going to plant this until late October, probably about October 31st, which is Halloween, right? And then I will fall plant that in the garden. I don't want to plant it too early, because then sometimes some of the pests can find it earlier in the year. But once we've had a few frosts and the weather's getting colder and the days are getting shorter, that's usually a better time to plant garlic in most cases, around that time, the end of October, at least in this zone 6A climate. So if you're in a different growing zone, of course that's going to be a few weeks different for you, depending on what growing zone you're in. And then in the spring, you know, I'll grow this garlic out for garlic scapes, for garlic bulbs, cloves, and then also for green garlic, which is also an interesting option, and a lot of people can be into it these days too, where basically you harvest it earlier in the season, like in the spring, and you can use it like scallions or a similar type of use like that. It will have a little bit more of a garlicky flavor, but it's generally more mild, and can go well in a lot of different dishes depending on how you use it. So that's definitely one thing I want to experiment with next year, would be the green garlic, as it's called. So I hope you enjoyed this video on harvesting garlic. It's a really fun crop to grow. Harvesting is a lot of fun, and being able to dry and use the garlic that you've produced yourself is just a really strong sense of accomplishment, and it's a lot of fun. So thank you so much for checking out this video, and I look forward to seeing you in a future video. Take care.